In the early decades of the 20th century, the world looked upward, captivated by the possibility of conquering the skies. The airship, a marvel of engineering and imagination, emerged as the symbol of this new frontier. Majestic and serene, these giants of the air floated across the skies, promising a future where distances shrank under the power of human innovation. Among these, the LZ-129 Hindenburg stood as the crown jewel, a testament to the ambitions of an era where the sky was not the limit, but a vast expanse waiting to be explored. The Hindenburg was more than just an airship. It was the embodiment of luxury and technological prowess, stretching 245 meters in length and filled with over 200,000 cubic meters of hydrogen. Its interiors were lavishly appointed, with dining rooms, lounges, and staterooms that rivaled the finest hotels. The promise of crossing the Atlantic in such splendor attracted the wealthy and adventurous alike, setting the stage for an unprecedented era of air travel. Yet this golden age was not without its shadows. The use of hydrogen, a highly flammable gas, as the lifting medium, was a source of controversy and fear. Despite the technological advancements of the time, the specter of disaster loomed over every voyage, a reminder of the fragile line between human achievement and hubris. As the Hindenburg prepared for its fateful journey in May 1937, the world watched with bated breath, unaware that this voyage would mark the end of the airship era. The disaster that would unfold over Lakehurst, New Jersey, was not just a tragedy of loss and destruction, but a turning point that would forever change the course of aviation history. The echoes of the Hindenburg disaster resonate through the years, a haunting reminder of the costs of reaching beyond our grasp and the lessons learned in the aftermath. As we venture into the heart of this story, we explore not only the events that led to the catastrophe, but the human stories intertwined with the fate of the Hindenburg, tales of ambition, fear, and the unyielding quest for understanding in the face of tragedy. In the shadow of the Grand Hindenburg, destined for tragedy, 3 lives converged, each carrying their own stories, dreams, and secrets. Their fates, interwoven with the fate of the airship, would become emblematic of the human spirit, its ambitions, its vulnerabilities, and its relentless quest for truth amidst the ashes of despair. The journalist, Emma Schneider. Emma, a young and ambitious journalist from Berlin, saw the Hindenburg as her ticket to the world stage. Passionate about aviation and hungry for a story that could define her career, she viewed the airship's journey as a perfect blend of adventure and opportunity. Emma's sharp intellect and curiosity were her greatest assets, driving her to uncover the stories hidden beneath the surface of this technological marvel. Little did she know, her quest for a groundbreaking article would lead her into the heart of a mystery as dense as the smoke that would soon engulf the Hindenburg. The engineer, Friedrich Bauer. Friedrich, a seasoned engineer who had dedicated his life to the development of airships, harbored deep reservations about the Hindenburg's reliance on hydrogen. His concerns were not just technical, but moral, stemming from a profound sense of responsibility for the lives his creations carried across the skies. With a career spanning the heyday of German airship travel, Friedrich's expertise was unparalleled, his commitment to safety unwavering. Yet as the Hindenburg prepared to cross the Atlantic, Friedrich's attempts to voice his concerns were met with dismissal, the corporate and political pressures overshadowing the engineer's cautionary warnings. The mysterious passenger, Anton Weiss. Anton Weiss, a man shrouded in mystery, boarded the Hindenburg with a purpose far removed from the leisurely travel sought by his fellow passengers. His connections to the political turmoil brewing in Europe were well concealed, hidden behind a facade of charm and affluence. Anton's reasons for being on the Hindenburg were known to few, and his actions aboard the airship would spark questions that burned as fiercely as the fire that would consume it. What was Anton's true mission, and how did it tie into the fate of the Hindenburg? As the Hindenburg lifted off on its final voyage, these three individuals, each a symbol of human aspiration and frailty, embarked on a journey that would forever change them. Emma's pursuit of truth, Friedrich's technical genius and ethical dilemmas, and Anton's mysterious agenda set the stage for a narrative where personal stories intersect with historical events, creating a tapestry rich with emotion, suspense, and intrigue. May 3, 1937 marked the departure of the Hindenburg from Frankfurt, Germany, destined for Lakehurst, New Jersey. The airship, gleaming under the spring sun, was a sight to behold. Among the crowd of spectators and passengers, excitement was palpable, a shared anticipation for the journey ahead. For Emma, the departure was the beginning of what she hoped would be her most significant story. For Friedrich, it was another voyage marked by silent apprehension. And for Anton, it was a step closer to an enigmatic goal, his calm demeanor belying the turmoil within. As the Hindenburg ascended, leaving the German landscape behind, the interaction among our key characters began to unfold. Emma, always on the lookout for an angle, was drawn to the enigmatic Anton, sensing there was more to his story than met the eye. Friedrich, meanwhile, kept a watchful eye on the airship's workings, his concerns growing with each passing mile. The grandeur of the Hindenburg, with its luxurious accommodations and the promise of transatlantic travel in unmatched comfort, stood in stark contrast to the undercurrents of tension among its passengers and crew. The departure set in motion a series of events that would lead to one of the most catastrophic moments in aviation history, a moment that would test the mettle of our characters and define their legacies. As the Hindenburg glided over the Atlantic, its passengers settled into the rhythm of life aboard the airship. The grandeur of the dining hall, the luxury of the lounges, and the quiet of the observation decks provided a surreal experience, floating between the blue of the sea and the vastness of the sky. Emma, ever observant, mingled with passengers and crew, her journalist's intuition sensing stories in whispered conversations and exchanged glances. Friedrich, though preoccupied with the mechanics of the airship, found himself drawn into discussions about the future of aviation, where his warnings about the dangers of hydrogen were met with a mix of skepticism and outright dismissal. Amidst the opulence and the optimism, Anton Weiss moved like a shadow, his presence almost ethereal. He was seen in brief conversations with select passengers, his topics of discussion unknown, adding layers to his mystery. Emma's attempts to engage him were met with polite deflections, leaving her more intrigued and determined to uncover his story. As the Hindenburg neared the end of its transatlantic journey, tensions began to surface. Friedrich's concerns reached a crescendo when he discovered irregularities in the airship's hydrogen valves, a potential disaster in the making. His attempts to bring this to the captain's attention were thwarted by bureaucracy and the captain's confidence in the airship's invulnerability. Emma, meanwhile, stumbled upon a cryptic message in Anton's cabin, hinting at a meeting on the eve of their arrival in Lakehurst. Her journalistic instincts aflame, she sensed a story that could be bigger than any she had pursued before. The pieces of the puzzle began to fit together, suggesting a plot that could endanger everyone aboard. The night before the Hindenburg was due to land at Lakehurst, the airship was alive with anticipation. Passengers prepared for their arrival, unaware of the unfolding drama. Emma, following a hunch, decided to shadow Anton, hoping to uncover the true nature of his secretive dealings. Friedrich, meanwhile, took matters into his own hands, conducting a thorough inspection of the airship's hydrogen system, his expertise telling him that something was amiss. In the cloak of night, Emma observed Anton meeting with a small group of passengers in a secluded part of the airship. Their conversation, though muffled, hinted at significant stakes, a transaction or an exchange that was crucial to Anton's mission. Emma's presence went unnoticed, but the weight of her discovery weighed heavily on her. She realized that the story she was uncovering might have far-reaching consequences beyond the confines of journalism. Friedrich's inspection revealed his worst fears. The Hindenburg's hydrogen system was compromised, a catastrophic failure waiting to happen. His warnings, now more urgent, were met with resistance and disbelief. The airship's command, under pressure to maintain the schedule and the facade of safety, chose to proceed with the landing as planned. May 6, 1937, dawned with a mix of excitement and apprehension. As the Hindenburg approached Lakehurst, the air was thick with fog, a foreboding veil over the impending disaster. The landing procedure began, the airship maneuvering gracefully despite the growing turbulence. Then, without warning, a series of events unfolded that would seal the Hindenburg's fate. A static discharge, a spark in the wrong place at the wrong time, ignited the hydrogen. The explosion was instantaneous, a fireball engulfing the airship, its structure collapsing in flames. The disaster unfolded in what seemed like an eternity, the screams of passengers and crew lost in the roar of the fire. Emma, near the observation deck, was thrown to the floor by the blast. Her mind raced to find escape, to survive, but also to witness, to remember. Friedrich, amid the chaos, attempted to assist the evacuation, his knowledge of the airship's layout guiding dozens to safety. Anton Weiss was last seen heading towards the cargo hold, his fate unknown, his mission incomplete. The aftermath was a scene of devastation. The Hindenburg, once a symbol of human achievement, lay in ruins, its dreams and promises consumed by flames. The survivors, including Emma and Friedrich, were left to grapple with the trauma and the loss, their lives forever changed by the tragedy. In the wake of the Hindenburg disaster, the world was left grappling with the shock and the immediate question, what caused the explosion? As the smoldering remains of the airship lay on the ground at Lakehurst, an international investigation ensued, aiming to unravel the mystery of the catastrophe. Emma, recovering from injuries but driven by a relentless pursuit of truth, began her own inquiry, her journalist instincts telling her that the story was far from over. The official investigation considered several theories: a spark caused by static electricity, sabotage, and the inherent risks of using hydrogen as a lifting gas. Friedrich, deeply affected by the disaster, lent his expertise to the inquiry, advocating for a thorough examination of the airship's design and operational decisions, especially his overlooked warnings about the hydrogen valves. Amidst the technical and forensic analysis, Emma's investigation took a more personal route. She revisited her notes, the cryptic messages, and the conversations she had aboard the Hindenburg. The mysterious Anton Weiss, whose fate remained unknown, became a focal point of her story. Digging deeper, Emma uncovered links between Anton and political unrest in Europe, suggesting that the disaster might have been a target of sabotage. However, evidence was circumstantial, and with Anton missing, the truth seemed elusive. As the investigations unfolded, public opinion was divided. The spectacle of the disaster, amplified by the media, cast a shadow over airship travel, raising questions about its viability and safety. Friedrich's insights into the technical shortcomings and the ignored warnings painted a picture of negligence, a tragedy that could have been averted. The Hindenburg disaster marked the end of the era of passenger airships. The dream of floating luxury liners crossing the skies faded, replaced by a cautious approach to air travel. The disaster accelerated the shift towards heavier-than-air aircraft, which, despite their own challenges, offered a perceived greater safety margin without the risks associated with hydrogen. For Emma, the Hindenburg story became a defining moment in her career. Her articles, blending eyewitness accounts, investigative journalism, and reflections on the implications of the disaster, garnered international attention. Yet the mystery of Anton Weiss and the unanswered questions of sabotage haunted her, a reminder of the complexities of uncovering the full truth. Friedrich, haunted by the disaster, dedicated the remainder of his career to advocating for safer air travel technologies. His work contributed to the development of safety standards and practices that would shape the future of aviation, ensuring that the lessons of the Hindenburg were not forgotten. The Hindenburg disaster became a symbol of human ambition and its limitations, a poignant reminder of the risks inherent in pushing the boundaries of technology. It also underscored the importance of heedfulness to warnings and the ethical responsibilities of engineers and decision-makers. Years later, the Hindenburg disaster remains a subject of fascination and study, a tragic chapter in the history of aviation that continues to offer lessons for humanity. The stories of those who lived through it, like Emma and Friedrich, contribute to the tapestry of human experience, reflecting our quest for advancement, our resilience in the face of adversity, and the enduring pursuit of understanding. For Shadows of the Real, this narrative offers not just a recounting of historical events, but a journey into the hearts and minds of those who lived through them. It explores the thin line between ambition and hubris, the complexities of technological progress, and the indomitable human spirit that, even in the darkest of times, seeks light and truth. As the sun sets on the era of the Hindenburg, its legacy endures, a cautionary tale woven into the fabric of our collective history, reminding us that the shadows of the real are often deeper and more nuanced than they first appear.
Would you like to become a part of the top 1%? What if you could grow your YouTube online using artificial intelligence? Where could you be just now? Discover exactly how to use AI to 10x your YouTube growth. Don't lose this chance. Grab your copy now and become an AI master today.